Hello and welcome. This is VCD Roundtable episode number 53. And a lot has happened in the VMware cloud provider space. Not only that we had, I think, one of the largest challenge days in Sweden this week. But also quite a few announcements from VMware by Broadcom around products, licensing, packaging, and also some announcements we are going to make at the end regarding some upcoming events. But before we get to that, Sasha, do you want to start?
I can.
Hello.
Hi. Yes, welcome also from my side. Maybe you can mute yourself. Yes. Okay. Welcome also from my side. We had a great week with the challenge days in the Nordics. A lot new inputs from the service providers. Some parts we want to talk about later. So also some hints about some new features and how does it work. And with that, Matthias.
Yeah, curious about to hear all the news. Toby, you?
Yes, also the same for me. Hello and welcome to episode 53. So, back to Sasha.
Yes, so with that, when we searched for a topic for this VCD roundtable, we will cover a bit what's new, what's changing in the service provider program, and what's interesting to know, what we want to share with you. So Monday and Tuesday, we had the challenge days in Stockholm, and there was one interesting topic. We got a few requests on how does it work, and nobody finds how does it work in the user interface or in the Cloud Director interface. And this is a VM placement on just guest OS base. So that means we have a lot of vendors who needs or products who needs to be licensed on host based, and a lot of service providers started to selecting or created affinity rules on vCenter level. But the problem is, if we created on vCenter level, we had every time problems in combination with Cloud Director. And now we have this feature with the last Cloud Director version that we can create policies that we place VMs on dedicated hosts based on the guest OS. Yes, Matthias?
I would not say with the latest VCD version that feature is there since, I don't know, 10.4, 10.3?
Okay, yeah, so
just saying.
Yeah, it's there. But again,
maybe
a lot
the
of
need just appeared within the group and community.
So a few service providers searched for it, and it's only possible to configure it over API. So that's the point. Do you have found it in the interface on the Cloud Director? Really? So maybe you can share where it is.
It's a placement policy. So maybe I misunderstand what you're talking. Maybe it's a misunderstanding, but in the end, you just create this DRS groups in vSphere, and then you grab those groups and map it in the Cloud Director UI in the service provider context, and then you can publish those placement policies to a tenant, and then you just use it. That's how you place a virtual machine to a DRS group, and that has a DRS rule. Then the virtual machine is placed on the according host group.
Yes, but the feature means now that you can place virtual machines automatically based on guest OS. So if you have selected Windows, for example, all Windows virtual machines will be placed on dedicated hosts.
So that's the misunderstanding. So you're talking about an automated placement.
Yes. Because of licensing and so on. So maybe it was there before, but I don't saw it before.
As Matthias referred, we are talking about two different flavors. So the first flavor is just to have a normal VM placement policy, which is there since I think 10.3 has been there in VCD, where you as a customer can select, hey, I would like to utilize this placement policy, and then my VM gets placed on cluster number A, B, C, whatever, or inside a cluster of a particular group of hosts. But what is new, and this is what Sasha is referring with 10.6.1.1, is now, and this is only available on via the API. If the customer selects, for example, Windows, automatically the VMs gets placed on the host which are entitled for Windows licensing. At the end, we are still talking about the same. It is a DNS-based group, host group, and VM group, but now with 10.6.1.1, VCD can do this automatically without doing any interference from service provider or from the customer itself, just based on the OS you select.
The other two amendments, and it's 10.6.1.
10.6.1, okay.
Not 10.6.1.1.
Okay.
Good. So, what else is new? So, yeah, maybe let's start with the newest information about, there is a new pricing guide. There is a new information about download quantity of license keys. What does it mean? So, long time before, and in the contracts, there was a maximum limit of license keys you can or you should create per contract. It was limited on the commits, but this was never executed in the past. And now there is, or there comes a message that you can have a maximum of 200% of license keys regarding your commit. That means, for example, if you have 2,000 license keys, 2,000 cores in a commit, you can create a maximum of 4,000 license keys on that contract. That will become interesting for a lot of service providers who are running a lot of hosts in maintenance mode or non-active and try to use them as an overage. So that's one very interesting point here. And in the last weeks, there was the message that they will go down to 125% that you can maximum create and download. But that looks like this is changed again, because this information with the 125% are removed, and also in the pricing guide, they only mention now the 200%. So let's see what happens there. But if you need more license keys, maybe you can create them. So the limit will be active in the next days. Yeah, that's one important new topic. The other topic is
email communication was today regarding this topic you just mentioned. I think the last email I received about that was today. So they're constantly sending out emails over and over and over.
Yes. And with that, also the announcement today, usage meter 9 is out. That means you as a service provider have now 90 days to upgrade your usage meters. That means it's very easy. There is an upgrade process. The only important topic, if you upgrade your usage meter, you need to create a token in the new portal, in the VCF portal, and need to enter this token in your usage meter when you're deploying the update. That's important. Also, for new usage meters, you need to first deploy the usage meter. You will get the ID like before from the usage meter. You can enter in your VCF portal. Then you can create the token, or must create the token, and the token must be placed manually in the usage meter again, that the connection can be established. And with a new usage meter, there are some parts you need to take a look on. So first of all, please make sure that you have new license keys deployed on your systems, because only the new license keys can be measured. And the new usage meter has now this feature that the usage meter can meter also vDefend firewall. And as we all know from the different contracts, until a few days ago, I think it was Monday or Tuesday when the new pricing guide was released. So before there was no add-ons or no overage for add-ons. So you needed to go with a commit if you wanted to go with vDefend firewall. And there is now an exception for vDefend, NSX vDefend. So you can go now on demand with distributed firewall and gateway firewall, and also with advanced threat protection. On the first view, that's a benefit for all of the service providers who wants to try it. There's also the information coming out now that it is counted on host-based, host core-based, no longer on cluster-based, like it was before. But that also means, please, before you deploy a new usage meter, please check your systems. If there is distributed firewall enabled, if you're running an user-created firewall rule. Because if you deploy the new usage meter, running distributed firewall, have no licenses, it will be metered now, and you have to pay the overage for that, for the list price. So that's very important to know. So yeah, please check it before. And additional to that, with the hosts, so on the host-based distributed firewall, so you can apply distributed firewall and pin distributed firewall to specific hosts in a cluster. So if you have only a small amount of customers who wants to create or wants to test or use distributed firewall, you are now able to use this feature and license only the hosts for distributed firewall you want to have.
One thing I would like to add, especially on the NSX side, please ensure that you really have only new license keys. The legacy keys will not be metered in the correct way. This is also clear documented already. The old license keys or the legacy keys will not be metered in the right way, which then can lead to a massive overage. So please ensure that you really are going to utilize the new NSX license keys. And if you have the add-ons like vDefend, then utilize the add-on license keys. But please get rid, before you really switch to the new usage meter to version 9, please get rid also of the old NSX license keys. That's really an important topic in the documentation.
Yes, and with that, yeah, take a look at distributed firewall, at advanced threat protection, though. Work together with your sales team and create packages out of it, because now it becomes really interesting for you to sell it to your customers. Also, if you have only a small amount of customers who wants to start with distributed firewall, but security comes more and more important. And with that, you are now able to start with a small amount of hosts.
Okay. I think it's overall very important to just keep an eye on all these timelines which are now showing up. Especially in Europe, they fall in the summer season. So keep in mind that there is now additional timelines or something like that going to come for usage meter. because that directly also influences new releases from Broadcom and other things. And the time frame they now provided is longer than what the contract actually said, because that was 14 days originally in there. So that would have been a much bigger stunt for everybody. Also, I don't think Sasha mentioned that there is documentation which came out from Broadcom on how to handle the offline bundles and stuff like that for VCF 5.2. For 9, there should be a better solution for service provider. We will see. But for 5.2, it is now clearly documented how you should provide these offline bundles and everything else to your customers. And we can only strongly encourage you to really review that. And again, even after discussions, it's like Broadcom said again and again very, very clearly, it is not allowed to provide user accounts to the Broadcom portal to sub-CSPs. Even if you are basically 3 providers together under one contract, only the one under the contract is allowed to access the Broadcom portals, the Broadcom software downloads, do the license management and everything else. Any other usage is a violation of the partner contract and the license agreement. And we did not only have the change of how between CSP and resell, this is directly also related to, let's say, misbehavior from partners. So even if you think that you can actually still do that, better be sure to really, really clarify that. As I don't want to see you in a situation where you run into any serious issues with Broadcom, because from what is heard, they are not actually going to joke around on these items much longer. So make sure that you follow that. There is a knowledge base article describing all of that and how to do all of these things. And for 9, it hopefully should be in a different scenario. We also heard during our event on Monday and Tuesday that there is a potential chance that VCF 9 might get a new VCD version on top of it, but only to make VCF 9 work. But again, the big question is, with the announcement that VCF in the future is not going to be VCD, or VCD is not going to be the multi-tenant solution moving forward, starting with 9. The big question is really is whether you are going to do or whether you are going to want to combine these. However, with all the changes in VCF 9, we said that in the last 2 days in Stockholm very, very clearly again and again, it makes sense, beside moving yourself to 5.2 point whatsoever, to also make sure that your internal teams are all trained already, or start training on VCF 9. There are so many substantial changes in the infrastructure that it is good to actually get going on that one, so that you are early on if your customers demand anything from that perspective. So that is good to know as well. So what else do we have? Any other news, Matthias?
We have a lot of rain currently in Vienna, but now the weather changes. These are the news I have.
So that means you have a lot of clouds in Vienna.
Yeah,
So
no,
we have at least
they're
some
all
relation to the cloud
gone.
round
They're all
table.
gone. No backup, no restore.
Okay.
Maybe one more topic on news. So if I need to meet you. Okay. So transmission control is back for service providers, for tenants of service providers. So you can deploy again transmission control self-managed. That's included now in VCF. So that will be maybe for a few customers a real benefit to manage the Kubernetes environment. And it's again unclear what happens with TKGM, though in the last newsletter they clearly mentioned that Broadcom will continue TKGM in the telco cloud platform for telco customers. but ZSP customers are not mentioned there. So maybe we get some more information in the next days or week what happens with TKGM for the service providers, especially for the CSE customers. What we heard is that will be supported for all of the service providers who used it before in the old model. But yeah, there's nothing in written currently. So let's take a look. And what's also new in the new pricing guide is that data services, they were included before in VCF, and they are still included for everyone who used data services with VCF. But everyone who starts now with data services, it's not longer included and needs to be licensed per core. Is this a good idea? I don't know. Depending on the view for the CSPs, not for the shareholders, maybe. Let's see.
Yeah. One thing here to add, Sasha, you mentioned it, TMC is now part of VCF. On the other hand, TMC as a SaaS application will go away. So for those who are still utilizing TMC hosted by Broadcom, please be aware this solution will go away. So you need to figure out how you can migrate your hosted TMC to a local installed TMC.
Good. I think that was a lot of news from the BCSP program for another week. Just as a wrap up, I mean, we are going to come together with a group of our AI specialists team here in Dubai next week, together with VMware and Broadcom. We have trainers from the US and the UK and everything else fly in, so that we have a 2 days AI workshop. We are then going to head over to Bonn for the Service Provider Summit, going to hold a keynote and workshop during that event. And then we are going to be at GTEx in Berlin the following week. And then we are off to Palo Alto for the first week of June. So if you are a service provider, or if you are working for a service provider, and if you want to also experience challenge days, if you want to actually be part of the architecture think tank, then this will be a very, very special edition this year. Based on the invite by Broadcom, we will most likely, we are clarifying the last couple of things tonight, but it looks like we will run both events on the Broadcom premises. We will have support from the BUs, but they will not change the generic format of our sessions. They just want to actually be able to network with you and actually get to know the service providers and a lot more better. So for those who were the last couple of months is always saying it's like it's so hard to get hold of these people, it's like this is your chance, your opportunity. If you want to join these events, please ping us. It's still 4 weeks to go. Monday, Tuesday, challenge days, Wednesday, Thursday is architecture think tank. I think we have a certain cap in number of people, and I'm expecting the remaining seats to go pretty fast. So if you want to join in, let us know as quick as possible so that we get your seats reserved. And then we are going to be back in Dubai for another challenge days mid of June. So also, if you really want to have dry heat or humid heat, then there's a place to be. We will definitely have above 30 degrees Celsius. There is a high chance for over 40 degrees Celsius outside. So if you enjoy that, that is definitely the place for your challenge days. That being said, thank you for participating this week. Thank you for joining in. If you have any questions or anything else, feel always free to ping us or join one of our communities. With that being said, I'm out. Sasha?
Yes, thank you, and see you on one of the challenge days or the architecture think tank. Or maybe if you are on GitEx or on the Service Provider Summit, ping us and let's sit together. Toby.
Yeah, thanks for joining. See you in the next episode. See you in one of the next events. Matthias.
Thanks, everyone. Take care. See you around.